Here we go. It's time to move forward between Nick NyQuil Brown and John Gunther. Combined, John, this is our co-main event. Combined records, 12-0. 8 of the 12 are finishes.
We said it at the start of the broadcast. Not my phrase, but I am stealing it from somebody. Somebody's O has to go.
And the question, John, I'll pose to you is who's? You got Nick Brown, a year layoff, but unblemished. John Gunther, I've never seen a man even hurt John Gunther, let alone stop him, and he's taken some punishment.
Oh, he's got his jaw is made of granite. It's ridiculous. He will take a beating. You think he's done. The referee is going to call it off. It's over. And the next thing you know, he either knocks his opponent out or submits him.
John, a video of his last fight, a clip on flowcombat.com. The wonderful people at Flow tweeted out a portion of that fight. You famously said, this fight is over. And it wasn't. That was Devontae Smith, who's one of the top prospects in the state, in the country, who had put some serious damage on Gunther. You thought it was over, and it wasn't.
Well, let's bring it out. Let's see what we got next. Mr. Digman is in the cage.
The following contest is a catchweight bout in the RFO professional welterweight division, and it's brought to you by Oscar's Auto Body. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Nick NyQuil Brown.
John Brown coming off a year layoff. He said he focused on grappling, got involved in some grappling tournaments. He also had a couple fights fall through and some injury. But this is a fighter on the cusp of hitting the big time. It's exciting for me to see him back inside the cage.
Absolutely. At 7-0, I mean, he comes off his submission, decision, KO, decision, submission, KO. This guy will take the fight anywhere you want to go. He's willing to go there, and he'll knock you out. He'll submit you. He'll grind it out by decision, whatever the case may be. How he needs to win is how he needs to win.
Importantly, too, he has real big-time experience in close fights. Cameron Van Camp from Indiana beat him by a split decision, and Romando Cameron up in PA beat him by both those by split decision. John, I spoke to him before the fight about fighting a guy like John Gunther. He said, I may have to bring a hammer in there to stop Gunther, but I'm coming with two of them. And he held up the right and left hand.
I mean, that is accurate, and we'll talk more about Gunther after he gets in the cage. Like I said, Gunther's face is made out of granite. You've got to absolutely crush him to stop him. And as you pointed out, and thank you very much for pointing out my fallacies, I said Gunther's done. And next thing you know, he wins by submission. So we've got two guys. Like I said, somebody's has got to go.
And it wasn't talking about a fallacy. Everybody watching, John, thought that fight was over. NyQuil Brown heads into the cage. We send it back inside to Jake Digman to bring out his opponent.
And his opponent making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome John the Machine Gunther.
There's the tail of the tape, John.
Yeah, both these guys in their late 20s, early 30s, 6 foot versus 5'9". Gunther's got a little bit of a height disadvantage, but man, the one thing to look at is on the far right of the screen. O. Both of them have O as a professional. They are 7-0 versus 5-0.
Sometimes people have nicknames, John, that are inappropriate, just don't fit, or that's wishful thinking. This one is spot on, dead on. It's John the Machine Gunther. I asked Coach Miranelli, have you figured out what's in his DNA? And he just shook his head and said he's a different level, different type of guy.
Yeah, it's like Corey Kluber for the Cleveland Indians. They call him Klubot. He is a machine. So is John Gunther. He just sets his mind to something and time to go.
And there's Gunther in the green shirt. Right to his left in the back is JT Miller. JT Miller is a big-time prospect, former Cleveland State wrestler with heavy hands. And after the Devontae Smith fight, JT Miller told me, my right hand is the eraser, and I've never hurt John Gunther with it. And after seeing Devontae land the punches he did, I feel better about myself.
Yeah, I mean, Gunther is Northeast Ohio. Most people who follow the sport know who he is, but if you do not follow the sport or if you are not from Northeast Ohio, get ready because you are about to follow him.
Gunther has the same corner, and look, this is what it's all about. He comes out wearing Cody the Wolverine Stevens t-shirt, who's in the main event. He has the same corner as UFC heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic. To your right, Marcus Marinelli. In the middle, Pablo Castro, jiu-jitsu instructor, and to the left with the towel, that's Big Al Diddy. He teaches the hands, and he does it as well as anybody in mixed martial arts. This is an experienced corner and experienced training partners.
Yeah, and he didn't start off at strong style. He migrated there, and I think that has really taken him to the next level.
Marcus Marinelli said it took him a while to understand Gunther, to get into his head, but they've reached that point. And as a coach, Marcus Marinelli, as he greases him up, he talks about how important it is to have that type of relationship and understanding with your fighters. And I think the evolution of John Gunther will continue to rise because Marcus has that relationship with him.
Absolutely, and one of the things Marcus was saying when we were talking to him before the fight is, hey man, you're on board with what we're trying to teach you or you're out. And John Gunther has bought in.
I'd like to say this is gamesmanship of Gunther making Nick Brown wait in the cage, but that's not his style. The machine's in the cage. NyQuil's in the cage. Send it up to Jake Digman for the official introductions.
The following contest is a professional catchweight bout in the RFO welterweight division, and it is brought to you by Oscar's Auto Body. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. He weighed in at 165 pounds, representing Uniontown Fight Club. He has an undefeated professional record, 7 wins, 0 losses. Please welcome Nick NyQuil Brown. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Mansfield, Ohio. He weighed in at 165 pounds, representing Strong Style Fight Team. He has an undefeated professional record, 5 wins, 0 losses. Please welcome John the Machine Gunther! This bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Jerry Poe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the best fights you can put together in regional MMA. John Gunther. Nick Brown. Gunther takes center cage.
And just to know how nuts Gunther is.
Gunther got the leg. And looking for the takedown. Posting on the arm is Nick Brown. Gunther fighting. If there's one thing Gunther is, it is persistent.
Gunther being very smart. He's not grabbing the cage. Still working for it. Brown is trying for a guillotine.
Good job.
Not going to get it from that position, and now Gunther's on top. Side control.
John Gunther all over Nick Brown. This is his type of fight.
Nick Brown looking for a key lock.
Nick Brown knows exactly where he's at in every position. Gunther looking for some lefts.
Oh, he got an armbar.
And Nick Brown looking for an ankle?
I'm sorry.
Looking for a leg?
Yeah, for my angle, I thought it was an arm, but it is an ankle.
Oh, up kick by Nick Brown, and Gunther dives into the guard of Nick Brown.
And as we said at the outset, Gunther's mentality, he is so nuts. When his opponent was being introduced, he was applauding.
Yeah. We'll go no further than his day job, which is about 3 months out of the year. He's an alpaca shearer. Body shots by Gunther. Nick Brown using a butterfly guard to try to raise Gunther up.
Which is slightly different than your summer job, which is you are a llama shearer.
Nick Brown switches positions. We're in a scramble, and there's some hammer fists from Nick Brown. Nick Brown all over.
Oh, got a guillotine. It looks pretty deep.
It's a Darce choke.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Boy, the angle I'm at right now, I cannot see it.
Looks deep.
It is a Darce choke.
Darce
He's got to
choke.
roll him over.
But
He's got to roll him over.
John Gunther clears the arms. Still in the fight is John Gunther.
And now Gunther's looking for a submission of his own.
And he's got the neck of Nick Brown. Nick trying to fight out of it.
And these guys are going to be
And
back
they're back
standing.
standing, and Gunther looking for the double leg. He's going to lift him
And
up.
he's going to get it.
He's going to lift him up, and he takes him down. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this for the first time, this is a John Gunther fight. Non-stop action, in your face, not giving you room to breathe. John Gunther on top of Nick Brown. Nick Brown, not a guy to sit there for very long, constantly working position.
And Gunther right now, although he may seem to the amateur eye inactive, he is working for every inch of position.
Well, Nick Brown has butterfly guards, which creates a leverage position, and now Gunther transitions to half guard on top of Brown. And look at that camera angle. Great work by the crew. You see Gunther keeping Brown pushed up against the cage. At this point, the old school boxing mustache of John Gunther is probably not in prime form. But right now he is. This is his world. John Gunther constantly working, constantly punching. Nick Brown staying active.
Nick Brown doing a nice job with the butterfly guard, trying to minimize damage, but he is taking some hits.
Good right hand by Gunther.
Keep punishing, Gunther. You don't like that.
Gunther 5-0 with 3 finishes. Brown 7-0 with 5 finishes.
Watch the triangle, watch triangle, watch triangle. Good job.
Gunther passes the triangle attempt.
Yep, now he's in half guard.
And Nick Brown with the hand around the neck, and Gunther clears it again. We're inside 1 minute of round number 1. Gunther in full mount. Gunther with the back. And Nick Brown, while transitioning out of this, is still throwing punches the whole time.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. Still looking for that Kimura, the key lock.
Left hands by Gunther. Neither of these guys ever stop throwing punches. We're inside 30 seconds. This is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We've got Nick Brown trying to get John Gunther off of him. Gunther drops down for a leg lock. Loses position, but that's a heady move by Gunther, going for it with 10 seconds left. End of round 1. And the crowd is applauding. Very, very rarely do you see an entire round spent on the ground and get this sort of appreciation by the crowd.
I think the crowd knows what they saw, and that is very, very technical mixed martial arts. It's not a fight. It's mixed martial arts.
And the lovely Ariel tells us we are going to hit round number 2. John, take a look at some of the action.
Yeah, this is...
That's a Darce.
Right there, he tries for the Darce choke. Unable to get it, and Gunther is going to get out of it, and then he's going to reverse him. And then Gunther spends pretty much the majority of the round on top. Up until the very, very end, where Nick Brown was able to switch it and get heel hooks. Well, he couldn't get the heel hooks in, but he got his back.
We are set, Jerry Poe. Make sure the cage door is shut. That's John Gunther on your right. Nick Brown is now on your left. Coach Marcus Marinelli from Strong Style says Gunther has underrated stand-up. He just needs to have more confidence in it. But right now, he's got a front choke on Brown. John, can he finish
And he's
here?
looking, and he comes out of it, and now he's going to look for the takedown.
Brown, that is. Gunther digs for an underhook, and he's got double underhooks. And again, attacking the neck is Gunther.
And now Gunther goes They reverse it, and they separate, and Gunther is going to go for a takedown.
This is
Suffocating
pressure.
For me, I love it.
And there's the ankle pick by Gunther, and he's got him down.
Yeah, both these guys are doing a great job of trying to get the fight to the ground. And clearly that's where both of them want it. They don't want to stand and bang, and that's fine.
Nick Brown from Uniontown, Pennsylvania. John Gunther, originally from right here in Mansfield, Ohio, training in Independence, Ohio at Strong Style. Nick Brown still at home, Uniontown MMA. And it's Gunther, once again, on top of Nick Brown. Bill Bosley, the coach of Nick Brown, right there in the corner, giving him advice. Go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, but what's happening right now is the judges are seeing John Gunther on top, and they're scoring it in his favor.
But John Gunther is actually landing.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I mean, as much as Nick Brown's defending well, he's losing in the judges' scorecard, so he's got to come up with a different plan.
And even if they're both landing strikes, Gunther's controlling the action.
Yep.
He's the one dictating the fight. He's controlling position and probably doing more damage because he's on top.
Yep.
Elbow from Gunther. And again, Brown trying to work the butterfly guards, but so often in this fight he's had one butterfly and one not. So it's difficult to get that lift that you want from the bottom with only one butterfly hook, correct?
Yeah, and Gunther's doing a great job. He keeps putting his forearm across Nick Brown's throat. And now he's working an armbar.
Brown's looking for an armbar, but Gunther stacks him. And now there's no armbar attempt, I don't believe. North-south position.
Yep, north-south. Good job by Gunther there. And he's got an arm in, and he could just basically tee off on his ribs.
John, what is Gunther, this awkward-looking position, what does he want to do from here? What are the options?
From right now, if I were him, I would just tee off on those ribs like nobody's business, because you basically have a free shot with the left hand.
Gunther's essentially tied him up. There's some punches to, I'd call it the hip.
Yeah, he's punching him with his right hand, but he's got his left hand. If he's got his left arm trapped, just take your left hand in north-south position and just tee off on those ribs.
Now, does he want to move down and go for a north-south choke? Or is he comfortable in this position?
Well, now he's working. He might have a potential heel hook or even a leg lock.
This is a chess match on the ground, but in Gunther
and Gunther right now is going to do. He needs to do a good job. Make sure he doesn't get his arm stuck in there.
And Gunther just folds down. It's suffocating pressure.
It's nonstop.
Coming to the final minute of the second round.
And Gunther's doing a good job. Just loosen up those ribs.
It's constant pressure and constant offense.
Yeah.
By the machine, John Gunther. Right now, Nick Brown landing some shots from the bottom. Brown going for an arm.
He's going for a triangle right now. And now he's looking for an armbar. And you can switch between an armbar and a triangle very easily.
Is Gunther in trouble here, John? Look at him.
He might be in trouble. Oh, beautiful transition. Armbar, triangle, back and forth. But Gunther gets out of it. He's very slippery.
We come up on the final 10 seconds of round number 2. John Gunther dominating this fight.
Absolutely.
Knee to the ribs. Another knee.
And you know, one of the things a training partner of mine told me.
John Gunther gets up and pumps his arm in the air like, this is what I do, but go ahead.
Well, one of the things one of my training partners once told me, body shots are like vitamins. You might feel them, you might not feel them right at first, but over time, they'll take effect.
Took a look at how tired Nick Brown is, and that's because of those body shots, John.
Yep. They may not take effect right away, but over time, they will work.
John, talk about this constant pressure by John Gunther.
It's just nonstop. And one of the things my coach always told me is he who sets the pace will tire less. And that's one of the things, even if you're at a pace that you're not used to, if you set that pace, you're going to be good to go. While your opponent's constantly going, geez Louise, get off me already. I need a second to breathe.
Time for the third and final round. Jerry Poe in the cage. To your right is John Gunther. Entering from the left of the screen, there he is, Nick Brown, Ryan Kavanaugh. John Sturmack. Brown wants to keep this standing, but there it is again. The entry by Gunther, and now he's putting his neck in jeopardy like he did in round two.
And he's looking for a guillotine right now, and he keeps going for that key lock. Good trip by Gunther.
John, Gunther, what does he do here to prevent the key lock?
One of the tricks of the trade, to prevent a key lock, do a key lock right back. As he bends your arm, you bend his arm.
Some people in the business call that tit for tat.
The key lock could be prevented by a key lock. But right now, he's just smothering his hips. And Nick Brown right now he's trying, but he's got to be in at least half guard to get that key lock.
Yeah, it's a difficult position, correct, where Brown's at.
I mean, he can eventually finish this, but with Gunther's left leg trapping Brown's arm, he can't finish this. He's going to have to get that free. And Gunther's doing a good job of keeping that right in there and not letting him. There he goes. Pushes that leg in.
He's knees to the chest now by Gunther. And Nick Brown still hanging on to this, although it doesn't appear like he's putting Gunther in any sort of danger.
No, it's like hanging on for a guillotine from side control. You're just wasting your own stamina.
Jerry Poe moves in to get a better look.
Ribs hard,
John, Gunther has the leg of Brown hooked with his own purpose.
Or does Brown have the leg hooked of Gunther?
Touche, you tell me.
And that's why this is jiu-jitsu is a beautiful chess game. It's a chess game with sweat.
The key lock is no longer being utilized, and Gunther is utilizing the left hand into the face.
And now Gunther has opportunity for full side control.
Be mindful of the leg.
I mean, this is outstanding. You know, for a lot of fans, they can't see the intricacies of what's going on. But this is outstanding groundwork in offense on the mat by John Gunther.
And these guys, to the layman, it looks like two guys hugging. To those that are in the know, these guys are working for every inch that they can get. And that's why the referee is not standing them up right now.
Well, there's ground fighters, and then there's active ground fighters. And if you want to talk about the UFC, Chael Sonnen was one of the best wrestlers, but he was always active. Always punching, always moving for position, always threatening with things, and that's what you see from John Gunther.
And now Gunther's got knee on belly. He's looking to try to get to full mount. And Nick Brown right now, he's just defending himself, which is great, but he's got a minute 45 left to go.
John,
you got to get busy.
It's always doing is defending himself.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't think Nick Brown's going to get knocked out, but Nick Brown right now is going to lose this fight.
Nick Brown has fought 7 times. It's an unblemished record, but he's never fought John Gunther. He's never fought this type of style, this relentless pressure in your face.
Yeah, and you just saw his face. He kind of shook his head and rolled his eyes. He's like, what do I do with this maniac?
Coming up on 1 minute of the third and final round, John Gunther looks to be grinding out his 6th win in as many fights.
Yeah, if you're 6-0 as a professional, the bigger organizations are looking at you. RFO is a class organization, but the UFC is the UFC.
John, if you're Gunther, do you go for a finish here? Do you want that type of finish on your record, that a finish against a guy like Nick Brown on your resume?
Oh.
And I think Nick Brown just lost his footing.
Yeah, that wasn't a
Oh! Artful up kick by Nick Brown.
and I think right now what John Gunther's doing is a smart thing. A win is a win is a win. Get out. Don't do anything stupid. You got 20 seconds left to go. Yeah, would a finish be nice, but just get your W and walk out.
John Gunther trying to finish this fight against Nick Brown. He's where it started and where it stayed, on top of Nick Brown. And John Gunther,
And much to the pleasure of the crowd, John Gunther is going to get his victory. Helps his opponent up.
it's the type of guy he is.
And the reincarnation of Raleigh Fingers, to go back to the 1980s.
Someone get that man some mustache wax ASAP. Let's get it back where it belongs. John Gunther. There's a reason they call him the Machine, John Sturmack, and we just saw it.
Right, he just grinds you out. Now the question is, does John Gunther or Jake Digman have the best curled mustache?
You know, they come about it at a different angle. That's the best I can say. Take a look at this. This is the last-ditch attempt by Nick Brown. Watch this spinning left. Oh.
Ooh, did catch him a little bit, but not enough.
John Gunther, I'll tell you what, the man we're looking at right now, he can go another 5 rounds with that exact pace.
Yeah, I mean, he's standing up, he's walking around, he's fine, he's good to go.
He's a different kind of guy. There's Nick Brown, obviously a little bit dejected. You have to ask yourself, did the year off for Nick Brown from fighting mixed martial arts, did that affect his performance tonight?
You wonder what he did with that time. Was he training?
Well, he was in grappling tournaments. He had fights fought. He had some injuries. But, John, you know, as a guy who's been inside the cage, you cannot simulate in-cage experience and in-cage fighting. Jake Digman's in the cage. Speaking of inside the cage, we'll send it up to him to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for both of these professional athletes. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards, where all 3 judges have scored this contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, John the Machine Gunther!
I'm here with your winner, the Machine. They say styles make matchups. You guys seem to be paired pretty evenly there and very similar styles.
Oh yeah, looking at this, I was like, dang, this is a terrible style for me. But he's like good at everything I'm bad at. He's good at getting those underhooks. He's good at throwing those knees. I was like, dang, this is a nightmare matchup.
How strong was he? He looked. That's the first time anyone's really met you head on with strength.
Yeah, he was strong, and like those submissions were slick. I wish it would have been more aggressive, but it was a little scary. Some of those subs were tight.
You both came into this fight undefeated. His O went. What's next for John the Machine Gunther? Something UFC. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Maybe Nick Diaz wants too much money. Maybe I'll fight Conor McGregor for free. Throw me in there. Hell yeah, that's my man. That's why we love you, John. We've watched you come up through the ranks, and in my opinion, there's no one left to beat around here. So I don't see why Bellator or UFC won't call you. It's your time, man. What do you have to say to your Strong Style family, your mom and dad, your sister, everyone that came out to see you?
Oh, thanks everyone for coming out. If you guys could follow me on social media and stuff and try to get my name a little bigger, hopefully, so these big organizations look at me. Thanks for all the coaches and stuff that worked with me from all the other teams. Thanks to my coaches at Strong Style. Thanks, everyone.
You guys do go to social media and give him a follow. He's got great videos of his workouts. John the Machine Gunther.